Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a new class. And today we are going to start with past indefinite tense in voice, and we did present present tense in the last class, and today we are going to complete with past indefinite tense and future indefinite tense and some other things that are important. All right, then. So let's start. Um, yeah, til pakhat information pakhat oma chu we are going to hold an interview for every one of you. FC first semester zong zong tan. We are going to uh, have a viva exam, and we will be telling you, we will be informing you when you're going to have it later. So I want you to keep on checking the groups. All right. So without further ado, let's start our lesson. Ama sa zo kami ka voice part 1 law nita 7 mi chu voice part 2. Oh, chuan past indefinite tense. Tense tense kha in thiam chiang law ni chuan I voice hi thiam ngai na om lo chu wang chuan I want you to go back look at the formulas again and again till you remember everything. All right, so past indefinite tense, look at the sentences, look at the examples given. Active voice. Thomas Alva Edison invented gramophone. Passive voice in chuan gramophone comes first. Gramophone was invented by Thomas Alva Edison. We never expected you here today. You were never expected here today. Where did you find my pen? Where was my pen found? Nobody made a noise. A noise was not made by anybody. No heta hian sentence dang ang lawin. Nobody he a in ta. Nobody ka it changes to anybody. Alright. Heta po a third example kan and sin ula. Where did you find my pen po kan? Did ka it changes to was. In siya tiamim. So tiang ang chuan nobody po hi anybody a in kani. Alright. Past tense a in kan anybody. Past tense mean yellow indirect speech ang ani chu. A noise was not made by anybody ti chu. Indirect ni chuan past tense kan mang china. So that's one. Nobody ka anybody in ein thlang don ni so. When did you call? When was I called by you? You have to remember all these examples. Heng ang examples how he in chat chan chuan question na when na changa ro in chan question alo ten eng tin nge kan thla kang tin in ngai to chang zung zung meng. So once when you have to look at your textbook, senior English grammar book ka kan soilang senior English grammar ka in nei nge ngai ani lo chuan ni in exam na in shethiam lawang chuan I exam na hian objective in exam mela final exam hi so van chuan in textbook kha prescribed textbook an ron neanga chu senior English grammar hi ani mel sia chu van chuan senior English grammar hi aizola om lo po in nei dan in ngai to nge ngai within this month tun kha a in nei nge ngai aizol hlo vel kha to process textbook in nei lo ai chuan chu van chuan you have to get the textbook, right? Chuan let's move on. Past continuous tense. Continuous tense at chuan nge kan ti kha verb kha ing form ina omanga chuan being ti te been ti te aron omang being hi ani tlang puya been ti chu past perfect anga a om chin chuan let's look at the example. The tailor was stitching my shirt. When it changes to passive voice, it becomes my shirt was being stitched by the tailor. By kan mang deu zel ro ma sena kina kan zir chau zel nga by omlo na chi po o manga chung chu you will be able to identify them as we read along, right? To whom were you writing a letter? Who was being written a letter to by you? To whom were you writing a letter? Who was being written a letter to by you? Kan siya tiamem soy levangay na po chang lo he chu. Was the fireman putting out the fire? Heta was the fireman Ngati was ani sia were ni om tak tiro was ani chuan fireman te pawh ni om tak heta chuan the firemen ani na chan chu collective angin an oma. So if it is collective, you don't refer it to as uh, plural. Chu chu nakina concept of concord anga khan kan ziranga in la sha chang tel mayang. Why it is like this? Oh, why is was used instead of were? Why is it firemen instead of fireman? Alright. Was the fireman putting out the fire? Was the fire being put out by the firemen? The gardener was not planting trees. The gardener was not planting new trees dito ni him. New trees were not being planted by the gardener. Which picture was she seeing? Which picture was being seen by her? Which picture was she seeing? Which picture alangay tro was being seen by her? Her sign TM. Tiang chu a formula ka zia chua ngai na om le lava tense ang khan. Ma se heng ang examples in mu hian. Heng examples hi formula ani sa. Ani ngal top ti va ngai na om lo plus subject plus verb ang jing ang khan ati ve thelo. Chu wan chuan heng examples te hi kun takin in share le anga. You will read it not only once, not only twice. Voice som vel in share huna chuan in thiam chiang to viawang. Chuan let's move on. Past perfect tense ve thunga chuan perfect tense ni chuan everything is completed, right? Chu tiang ani chuan had teka had kan manga has ni to lovin. Chuan been ama being ka been lo ni to boka. The child had broken my pen. My pen had been broken by the child. Mo had katsu ala chomzel passive voice ahian. The child had broken my pen. My pen had been broken by the child. Why had the laborer struck work? Why had the work been struck by the laborers? Who had sung this sweet song? By whom had this sweet song been sung? Nobody had damaged the crop at all. The crop had not been damaged at all by anybody. So option ani. Alright. Nge ka atira kan soi to kha subject kha apoi mo lo chuan importance apek lo thei chuan kan include lo thei. Mo kan du thlan na ni heta po nobody kha it disappears, right? It's not there anymore. Chuwan chuan a important talk lo ti na ni meya ma se heta hian the crop had not been damaged at all by anybody ni china po nobody kha anybody akan thlak to kan ti tiro khatya answer khan khata hetan a subject nobody he passive voice in thlak khan if you want to you can add it at the end. All right, had she kept her promise? Had her promise been kept by her? I hope it is clear. If you have questions, you can always ask me. Next, that's one future indefinite tense. Ve thung om a last tense ni to hei him. Future indefinite tense active voice kulau en le ila. Future hat chuan will or shall te tel chin tiro. Ma se shall he order ani wangin atel vak ngai lo kan mang vak ngai lo future indefinite tense turin. All will laugh at him. He will be laughed at by all. Who will bell the cat? By whom? Who ka? By whom? Malunito. By whom will the cat be belled? Who will bell the cat? By whom will the cat be belled? The peon will ring the bell at 8 a.m. The bell will be rung by the peon. Potite. The bell will be rung at 8 a.m. by the peon. The bell will be rung by the peon at 8 a.m. Mo adik ve ni chu. Chuan, the teacher will teach us a new lesson tomorrow. A new lesson will be taught to us tomorrow by the teacher. Hey po, by the teacher ka, it is optional. Subject the teacher ka, important. Si alaw heta chuan, atelo po kan sentence ka a complete thaw ni. A new lesson will be taught by the teacher to us tomorrow. Adikti do alaw turo. A new lesson will be taught to us tomorrow by the teacher. By the teacher in TMO, by the teacher ti hi intel lawani mo, it is both correct. Which dish will you cook? Which dish will be cooked by you? Hey chu keima zirtir ni ta se bio hi ka add karing. Alright, it sounds more complete. It's up to you. Ama kan soyang cha kan it depends entirely on your decision, alright? Which dish will you cook? Which dish will be cooked by you? Next future perfect tense. Future continuous tense om velo future tense hian. Future indefinite le future perfect tense. So so an active voice atan chu heng ho we kan soi le lo kanga ama kan include lo tense zong kan khoi to kan include lo chu present present perfect continuous tense om lo ti ro past tense past perfect continuous tense om lo heta future continuous tense future perfect continuous tense om lo vek ngatinge because those words khang ang kha tense chuan vek thoma sela I a voice in cloud on kan they do not make sense, so they are never included. Alright, and sentence siam shima khan and then future perfect continuous tense lo ni ta se sentence khan zia anei thei vak lawani passive voice athak tur emo active voice athak tur ani khan chuwang chuan tense kha akim lawani chu eng tense ho hinge kan man chin yang de kha in chin chianga yang you have to remember all these rules. Alright, people people will have taken her to the hospital. People will have taken her to the hospital. She will have been taken to the hospital by the people. Bracket next one, the nurse will have given medicine to the patient. The patient is the object, it will come first. The patient will have been given medicine by the nurse. Will you have completed the job by sunset? Will the job have been completed by sunset? Will the job have been completed by sunset? Who will have belled the cat? By whom? Who katsu passive voice kan thak chuan by whom in thak chin by whom will the cat have been belled? We should have finished our work by then. Our work will have been finished by then. Kha tense ho ani kha future perfect tense kha we are closing ani tense ho chuan thil pani poimo deu la oma there are still many, but after the tense we will touch on two important topics, which are imperative sentences and modal verbs. Imperative sentences. Look at the examples closely, alright? And if you can, read it along with me. Close the door at once. Let the door be closed at once. Mami future past le present sentence kan siar ho nen kan atiu na dang to ni tiro. It is more forward, it is more demanding, it is more complicated, it demands more attention, right? So chuan imperative sentences it is different from the rest of the sentences that we have read, right? Call him in. Second example, call him in. Let him be called in. Tell him to be off. Let him be told to be off. Do not spoil your book. Let not your book be spoiled. Allow her to leave, please. Let her kindly be allowed to leave. Hetia kan siaring po hian a sentence po hi it has a different tune. Rig dan ka danglam ani sentence masazok ay kan enge adanglam na kan endon ani on. Imperative sentence. Enge imperative sentence hi. Imperative sentences are used to issue a command or instruction, make request or offer advice. Kan siya tiyamem nitina sentence kan siya ne kan ay in remem sentence kan siya ka amami katsu ane manitero ka present te past te future mi ho katsu engma order va pe omlo do not swan imperative sentence to it gives command or it instructs, it makes requests or it offers advice. Advice hitahan I would just want to add something which is for your knowledge, general knowledge. Advice le advise ti hi enge danglam nan chem advice le advice enge danglam na in man pol me chinem advice a spelling hi advice in ti hi c hi s angalam turani advice mo chuan advice advice dia advice hi is like a z angalam tur, so it becomes advise in chithamem inge adanglam na chu advice 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 su it is a noun ani. It means a suggestion about what you should do. More, the c sounds like s, it will sound like s. Chuan kan shed bil the pot me tu na chuan advice ti chu advice chu noun ani a. It recommends about future action, it gives suggestions. Alright, chuan advise ve thung chu advice a s ka it should be pronounced as z or z, however you pronounce it. Alright, so advise is a verb ani ve thung ta ni chu advice to noun, advise to verb. It means to suggest what should be done, to recommend or to give information to someone. Alright, those are the things that I want you to learn along the way. Alright, tiang ang bao chuan English hi hey zirwa ngai no om chang lo dictionary te in keu pe don chang si lawa in phone na tal khan dictionary download ola Mizo dictionary oma Play Store ra chuan English dictionary in nei pokang. I want you both to have it. Tiang ang word i hetia kan soya om zia kan shemei ma se in depth han thil kan shelawani tunlai chalai chuan chuwang chuan I want you to download the dictionary and look at these words enge imperative ti te hi in shelo mai the chuwang chuan dictionary in enanga dictionary in type mo in ke panga tiro in lo enanga chuan it will make you smarter. Alright, chuan what is imperative sentence let taila basically they tell people what to do ani tiro they tell people what to do. Sentence how hilo en le sinila close the door at once a order ani tiro they tell people what to do. Close the door at once kongka kha kharngal ro order ani, it is not a request. Instead hamem call him in lo ko lu ro ama kha tell him to be off kal chwati ro. Instead hamem imperative sentences are blunt, they tell people what to do. It is a command, it instructs people, it makes requests, it offers advice. Imperative sentences usually end with a period dia hian full stop period and dichin. Imperative sentences usually end with a period but can occasionally end with an exclamation point, exclamation mark, the period, then it usually ends. Period is on it. Every sentence kind of ends with a period, right? Full stop. Must say the language that it uses, the words that it uses, the sentences formed are more demanding. Usually, the verb in imperative sentences issue a command, and the subject is implied, not stated, as it is giving direct order. Direct order it is not taken lightly. Alright, no matter what, the main function of an imperative sentence is to provide instruction, make a request or demand. No matter what, the main function of an imperative sentence is to provide instruction, make a request or demand. I hope it is clear. Then sentences with modals hikanla mule donan in textbook in lo mu chuan explanation omlowa what are modals tipo. So I will take the time to explain this. Alright, modals may include words such as can, may, must, should, will, would, might, etc. More. They can be used with other titurni. I'm sorry for the wrong spelling. They can be used with other verbs to express ability, obligation, possibility, and so on. Ege heta obligation hi omzia. Insha em obligation. I am obliged to do something. Obligation means something that must be done because of a law, something that should be done because of a law, agreement, or duty. Ti nge nge ngai ti lo te lo ang ka obligation chu ni possibility and so on. Modal verbs do not change their form unlike any other verbs. Heda chuan modal verbs. Modal verbs hi alo omani chuan in sentence akan it does not change form. Active voice akan modal verb hi lo om ta se. Passive voice akan thak in sentence ama zong kha chuan tiro modal verbs tel lawa kha chuan passive voice akan thak in it changes to past tense. Ma se modal verbs here it does not change, it never changes even if it is changed to passive voice. Alright, so modal verbs do not change their form unlike any other verbs. Uses of modals: can. This is an example kan say to a can. And then can he it is used to express ability or it is used to request permission. Lo ngai thatsin ula example la to express ability at one I can speak a little Hindi. I can speak a little Hindi. It expresses ability of a person. It expresses my ability, right? So ni inam hante ni to can here. A second nat one to request permission. Can I open the windows? Can I please go to the toilet? Tiro. It requests permission. Permission mi ne na changkan kan vadila. Chuwan chuan can ka meaning patni anei theni chu. First is expressibility and the second is to request permission, and can is a modal verb. Alright. Chuan may, M-A-Y, may, not the month May. Alright. May month katsu nilawanya. April, May, June ang zikan mo. May chu a first use to express possibility. Till possibility I may be home late. Inja tiamem. Till kleng te. Ma se tiang chia lo I may be home late. Example at one. Chuan a second use at one to request permission. May I sit down please? May I come in please? Atiang ang tiro. Chuan must omle must to express obligation. Nitina obligation omzia kan shito. It is more demanding than may, te, can, I can. It has more force, it has more attitude, alright? Excuse siam telo obligation ani chuan. Chuan example lo ngai thalet sin ula I must go now. I must go now. It's time to go now. Mo I must go now. Akal nge ngai to there can be no more delay. To express strong belief. Heta po inge belief hi B-E-L-I-E-F hi. How is it different from believe? B-E-L-I-E-V-E nen. Inge danglam na lo enve sin ro. To express strong belief. A sentence lo ngai thalet sin ula example that's one. She must be insane. She must be over 60 years old. She must be over 60. He must be over 10 feet more. It expresses strong belief. Rindan get taka aron express ve tani chu must ha chuan pakhat zo ka chuan obligation thil ti nge ngai rules ni emo agreement ni emo law ni emo duty ni emo khang angkha obligation mo. So next one should, S-H-O-U-L-D, should. So it is used to give advice. Advice ni lawin, it is used to give advice. Noun. Advice kan vepedwanta. Example la ngai sin ula you should stop smoking. You should stop smoking launitase. It is giving that person, I am giving that person an advice, right? I'm advising him. I'm advising. In siya tiyan to advising to verb paron in tlak to advice nila min advising. ADVISING. Kinakan la soy le don yak chung te to. Oh, I'm advising that person to stop smoking. So should becomes a word and now a verb used to give advice. Chuan last example that chuan would. It is used to request or offer, or in sentences which contain if. Lo ngay tlatin ulam first use and to request or offer ayan. Would you like a cup of tea? It is used to. It is used as an offer. More. Would you like a cup of tea? So on in if sentences, so sentences which contain if. If I were you, comma, I would say sorry. More. Would so if I were you, sentence ni mani. If I were you, comma, I would say sorry. More kang ang if sentence chin kan, it is used. The word would, the verb would be used. More. At yang ang tira. Chuan sentences with modals. Look at these examples. Active voice at one. The teacher may punish you. Passive voice in class one. You may be punished by the teacher. Do you notice the modals? Sentence number one. Hello in let's in ula. The teacher may punish you. May ka modal anitiro. Passive voice in class. You may be punished by the teacher. It does not change at all. Alangay ring may ka may tawin might in thak lo shim tiro a past tense in. Kan siya tiamem. She might wed you. When it changes to passive voice, you might be wedded to her. Kan siya tiamem. Can you do this sum? Can you do this sum? Can this sum be done by you? It is still the same, right? Could you help me, sir? Could I be helped by you, sir? He should obey you. You should be obeyed by him. They could have informed me. I could have been informed by them. I hope you understand today's lesson. So, without further ado, your exercise for today will be the exercises from Senior English Grammar. Senior English Grammar sentences. Please wait. Sentences with modals. Change into passive voice. You can pick any 5 from there. Change into passive voice, which is in page 175. Change into passive voice. Sentences with modals. You can choose any 5 from this, and change into active voice. You can choose any 5 from this. That will be your first exercise. Then a second that's one. Kita the future tense akan ngoro imperative tense pot. Imperative tense po yan passive voice change to passive voice le change to active voice. Panga ve exercise in lautili ang. Indu tu panga in laut hanga chuan in lauti ang. Chuan future tense chuan change to passive voice ka 1 to 5. Oh, it's okay. Hey po. Indu ber panga ni me. 1 to 1 na changa 15 kang oma, you can choose any 5. Change to active voice po, you can choose any 5. So ho song so future perfect tense. Future perfect tense nuaya kan 169 ahan page akan oma change to passive voice, change to active voice, any 5. Then imperative sentences, change to passive voice, change to active voice, any 5. Sentences with modals, change to passive voice, any 5. Change to active voice, any 5. Hemi textbook nailaw in omani chuan you can ask your friends. Group ami ka indu per indu tu text to bro. Those le official kema ni telvelo na teachers to telvelo na WhatsApp group in siam tho karinga in siam lo ni chuan I would advise you to make it So that's one in kom theanga. You can chat amongst yourselves and you can share materials. Alright. So that's one in low siamanga in low in pedonia on. Thank you, class.